Robin's name has always made them feel like the outsider in their family. From childhood, their sole passion was drawing. They would dedicate countless hours to sketching characters in their notebook. Superheroes, animals, mythical beings, anything imaginable. Following high school, while their peers were off to university, Robin took what their family considered a grave error. Instead of pursuing a degree, they signed up for 3D modeling classes. The memory of their mother's reaction remains vivid. She stood in the kitchen, dish towel in hand, with an expression suggesting Robin had lost their senses. "What do you mean you're not attending college?" she had inquired, her voice escalating. "Your sister Jessica attended college. She possesses a genuine career now." Yes, Jessica, the seemingly flawless elder sibling who always followed the prescribed path. A university degree, an office position, marriage to Tom immediately after graduating. The complete ideal. Robin attempted to clarify to their parents about YouTube, about how animators could earn a livelihood by producing content. Having become proficient with their tablet and animation software, Robin truly believed they could succeed. YouTube, their father scoffed during a dinner conversation. "That's not a legitimate profession, Robin. You'll be dependent on us indefinitely at this pace." The most disheartening part was that, initially, their concerns held some truth. Robin's initial animations received minimal views, earning them next to nothing. Whenever Jessica and Tom visited for Sunday dinner, Jessica would make it a point to highlight this. "Oh my goodness, Robin," she exclaimed one evening, scrolling through her phone with a smug expression. "Have you read the comments on your recent video? These individuals are brutal." Tom would peer over to examine her screen. "Wow, they're truly critical. Perhaps animation isn't your forte, Robin." Robin observed their enjoyment. Jessica's slight smirk, the way she'd meet their mother's gaze, sharing a conspiratorial look. Even their father would shake his head, murmuring about wasted time on cartoons. "When will you secure a conventional job?" their mother would inquire at least weekly. "You cannot persist in your fantasy world indefinitely." However, Robin possesses a tenacious spirit. Rather than surrendering, they immerse themselves in self-improvement. They research successful channels, discerning what strategies were effective and which were not. They overhauled their animation style, enhancing their characters' dynamism and incorporating improved narrative techniques. The transformation wasn't instantaneous, but gradually progress became evident. 10 subscribers grew to 100, and 100 expanded to 1,000. Each time a milestone was reached, Jessica would react with an eye roll and redirect the conversation to her recent work accomplishment or a similar topic. 3 years passed swiftly, akin to a time-lapse video. Robin's channel had expanded beyond their initial expectations. Revenue was flowing in consistently now. Sponsorship agreements, merchandise sales, and animation commissions. Each month, their bank balance increased, but they remained discreet about it, allowing their family to believe they were still struggling. The revelation was planned for one of their customary family dinners. Jessica and Tom were present, as usual. Their mother had prepared her renowned lasagna, and everyone was casually eating while discussing Jessica's recent promotion. "I have an update," Robin announced, placing their fork down. "I'm relocating next week. I've secured an apartment." The ensuing silence was exquisite. Jessica momentarily choked on her wine. "You what?" she sputtered, glancing at Tom. "Where did you acquire the funds for an apartment, Dad? Are you subsidizing this?" Robin took a leisurely sip of water, relishing the unfolding scene. "Actually, my channel is performing exceptionally well. So well, in fact, that I could lease a house if I chose to." Their mother dropped her fork. The clatter against the plate was nearly as pronounced as the silence that followed. "What kind of income are we discussing here?" Jessica pressed, her voice tinged with sharpness. "It's implausible that you're earning that much from YouTube." Robin simply smiled and offered a noncommittal shrug. "Sufficient." They were bombarded with inquiries throughout dinner. their family attempting to extract precise figures, but Robin remained tight-lipped. The following morning, Robin moved into their new apartment. It wasn't expansive, but it was theirs. Well, leased, but still their own. No more disapproving glances during breakfast. No more sarcastic remarks about their minor pastime. Following the move, they dedicated themselves to their work with even greater intensity. Their setup in the new apartment was ideal. A specialized animation workspace equipped with all the necessary tools. Their style continued to mature, their narrative skills sharpened, and their subscriber count continued its upward trajectory. The income continued to increase, and for the first time, Robin had the financial freedom to shop at any store they desired. The initial visit to their parents' house for dinner, adorned in designer denim and carrying a genuine leather handbag, was memorable. Jessica's eyes widened significantly. She fixated on the handbag throughout the meal, likely attempting to ascertain its authenticity. "Is that a Gucci?" she eventually inquired, attempting to sound nonchalant, but failing noticeably. "Perhaps," Robin responded, concealing their amusement behind their water glass. That marked a turning point. It commenced subtly, with minor instances, their father mentioning an unusually high water bill, their mother casually noting that the refrigerator was emitting peculiar sounds and might require replacement. "The property taxes increased this year," their father remarked one evening, adopting what Robin now identified as his tone for requesting financial assistance. "It's becoming increasingly challenging to manage all the expenses." Robin promptly wrote them a check, right there at the dining table. Why not? They could comfortably afford it. The expression of relief on their faces made Robin feel good, as though I was finally demonstrating my value to them. It soon became a routine occurrence. If the utility bills needed payment, I'd take care of it. Roof repairs were required? Not an issue. New appliances? Just specify the delivery address. My earnings were more than sufficient to cover their expenses while still allowing me to save for my own residence. Life possesses an ironic way of reversing circumstances. While Robin's animation career was flourishing, Jessica's seemingly idyllic life began exhibiting fissures. She became pregnant with her first child, and suddenly, Tom's income appeared less substantial. The initial indication of a problem arose during a family dinner. Jessica wasn't wearing any of her characteristic expensive jewelry, and her designer attire had been substituted with clothing from more affordable stores. She hardly consumed her meal, merely rearranging it on her plate while Tom discussed escalating rental costs. "Everything is so costly now," Jessica remarked, rocking her restless infant. "Diapers, formula, clothing, they outgrow everything so rapidly." Robin noticed her sister glancing at the watch, a minor indulgence Robin had purchased to commemorate reaching 5 million subscribers. The former, Jessica would have made a sarcastic remark. Instead, she simply appeared weary. That evening, Robin accessed their banking application and established a monthly transfer to Jessica's account. Not an exorbitant sum, but enough to alleviate some pressure. Initially, the source was kept anonymous, but Jessica quickly deduced the benefactor. "You needn't do this," she stated upon calling Robin about it, attempting to project an air of pride, but the relief in her voice was discernible. "I desire to," Robin countered. "That's the purpose of siblings, isn't it?" Upon reaching the age of 26, Robin resolved to elevate their business. Operating from home was adequate when it was solely them, but grander ambitions were harbored. An entire floor in a downtown office building was leased. Floor-to-ceiling windows, contemporary furnishings, the complete package. Subsequently, the hiring of fellow artists commenced, talented individuals who resonated with Robin's vision for producing exceptional content. "You possess your own enterprise now?" their mother inquired upon being informed. "Like a legitimate office, with personnel and all?" "Indeed," Robin confirmed with a smile. "An entire team of animators. We're engaged in some truly thrilling undertakings." Robin's prosperity continued its exponential growth. A luxurious apartment was acquired in one of those prestigious high-rise buildings, complete with a doorman. Then came the acquisition of a new vehicle, not excessively ostentatious, but undoubtedly superior to anything previously envisioned. Consideration was even given to purchasing a house, contemplating a move to larger accommodations. Then Jessica revealed her second pregnancy. She endeavored to convey excitement during the dinner announcement, but the apprehension in her eyes was evident. Tom had lost his employment a month prior and was undertaking contract work that barely met their current financial obligations. "We might be compelled to relocate to a smaller apartment," Jessica disclosed quietly after dinner, during the dishwashing. "The landlord is increasing the rent once more, and with another baby on the way." Robin didn't hesitate. "Don't concern yourself with the rent. I'll manage it." And thus, responsibility for their sister's rent fell upon Robin. The same sister who had previously ridiculed their minor cartoons now resided in an apartment financed by those very animations. Her sarcastic remarks regarding Robin's career choices ceased thereafter. It's remarkable how financial resources can alter perspectives. The Saturday family dinners had resumed their regularity. Each weekend, Robin would drive to their parents' residence, where Jessica, Tom, and their children would already be present. The cuisine was invariably delicious. The children were endearing, and everything appeared superficially flawless. However, a new pattern became increasingly noticeable. "The washing machine is emitting that peculiar sound again," their mother would observe, attentively gauging Robin's reaction over her coffee cup. "Tommy is growing so rapidly," Jessica would interject. "He requires an entirely new wardrobe for school. And with the baby, it was invariably something: a malfunctioning appliance, school supplies, medical expenses, home maintenance." The insinuations were no longer subtle. "The property taxes have increased once more," their father mentioned one Saturday, shifting his mashed potatoes around his plate. "And the roof genuinely necessitates repair before winter." Robin invariably acquiesced. Why wouldn't they? Their most recent merchandising agreement alone could cover their family's expenditures for an entire year. Moreover, it was gratifying to be in a position to assist, to witness their relief upon receiving another check or witnessing another funds transfer. One evening, while observing them all gathered around the dinner table, their mother serving dessert, their father recounting one of his familiar anecdotes, Jessica's children creating a delightful mess with their ice cream, an idea germinated. "How about a family vacation?" Robin proposed. 2 weeks in Hawaii. Their reactions were priceless. Their mother actually dropped the serving spoon. "Hawaii?" Jessica whispered, as though apprehensive that vocalizing it too loudly might nullify the offer. "Are you being genuine?" "Completely genuine. All expenses covered. The entire family." The vacation was extraordinary. Witnessing their parents' inaugural experience of a truly luxurious getaway, observing Jessica's children constructing their first sandcastles. Even Tom appeared to de-stress for the first time in years. Their mother shed tears upon their departure, but an even grander surprise was in store. Their parents' 35th wedding anniversary was approaching, and Robin desired to commemorate it in a significant manner. They had been driving the same aging minivan for over a decade, and it was undoubtedly past its prime. I spared no expense for the anniversary celebration: catered cuisine from their preferred restaurant, new attire for both of them, decorations, the works. The residence was filled with relatives and longtime friends, all commemorating their milestone. When the time came for gifts, I presented them with a small box containing keys. Their mother opened it, observed the car keys, and appeared momentarily perplexed. "What's this?" she inquired. "Look outside," I instructed. There it stood, parked in the driveway, a brand new SUV adorned with a large red bow. Not the most lavish vehicle available, but ideally suited for them. Safe, comfortable, and spacious enough for groceries and grandchildren. They embraced me tightly, almost painfully. "We're so proud of you, Robin," their mother whispered in my ear. So proud." In retrospect, I should have detected something amiss in their expressions when they uttered those words, but I was too elated in the moment, too gratified by being able to reciprocate to my family, too oblivious to perceive the underlying reality. It was a tranquil Saturday morning, 2 weeks subsequent to the anniversary festivities. Their parents had gone shopping in their new vehicle, eager to take it for a drive. I remained behind at the house, desiring some solitude in my childhood home. I meandered into their father's office, where I had previously dedicated countless hours to completing homework at his substantial oak desk. Their mother had mentioned organizing the accumulated old family photographs and documents in the corner, and I decided to assist during my available time. It was akin to a nostalgic journey: report cards from elementary school, Jessica's college acceptance letter, old family vacation photographs, birthday cards we had crafted as children. I smiled at a particularly dreadful drawing I had created of our family when I was 4. Stick figures with disproportionately large heads. That's when I spotted the manila envelope. It stood in stark contrast to the aged papers and faded photo albums, pristine, new, and official looking. It lacked the weathering of the other documents. The paper remained stiff, the edges defined. I shouldn't have unsealed it, but I did. Inside was a legal document, dated merely days after the anniversary celebration. The heading stated, "Last Will and Testament." My hand began to tremble as I perused it, the legal terminology blurring before my eyes until I located the crucial section: "All assets and property to be transferred to our daughter, Jessica Martin." I reread it. My name was absent, not present anywhere. Everything, the house I had been contributing to financially, the car I had recently gifted them, all of it was designated for Jessica. The paper quivered in my grasp. I felt nauseated. It wasn't about the monetary value or the property. Goodness knows, I possessed ample resources of my own. It was the implication. All those smiles, the embraces, the "we're so proud of you," had it all been a charade? Time seemed to halt until I perceived it. The sound of a car door closing, followed by voices and footsteps nearing the house. The front door opened, and I heard my mother's laughter concerning something. "Robin," she called out, "we've returned. Where are you?" I rose slowly, still clutching the envelope, and proceeded to the living room. They were carrying shopping bags, both smiling and conversing about their excursion, until they noticed me, until they observed what I was holding. The bags fell to the floor. Their mother's face turned ashen. Their father appeared as though he had encountered a specter. "Would someone care to elucidate this?" I inquired, my voice remarkably composed despite the internal turmoil. I held up the envelope, observing their expressions. My mother regained her composure first. "Well, we were intending to inform you." "When?" I interjected. "Before or after you bequeathed everything to Jessica?" My father stepped forward, attempting to mediate. "Now, Robin, it's not as it appears. Truly," I interrupted him, "because it appears quite unambiguous to me." That's when my mother's entire disposition shifted. Her countenance hardened, and she launched into an attack. "How dare you rifle through our confidential documents?" she exclaimed, her voice escalating to the shrill tone I recalled from childhood reprimands. "Who do you believe you are, intruding upon your father's office?" I emitted a laugh that sounded devoid of substance, even to my own ears. "Confidential documents in the house that I've been financing? The house whose utilities I cover monthly? Those confidential documents?" My father cleared his throat. "Robin, be rational. You're already prosperous. You possess your own finances, your own apartment. Jessica, she requires this more than you do." I gazed at him, incredulous at what I was hearing. "That's not the salient point, Dad. If you desire to bequeath everything to Jessica, that's acceptable, but you could have discussed it with me. Instead, you acted surreptitiously immediately after I presented you with a car, immediately after expressing your pride in me. We are not obligated to justify ourselves to you," my mother erupted. We are your parents. We can dispose of our property as we see fit. Your property? I reiterated. The property I've been supporting? The bills I've been settling? That property? Return that envelope to me, my mother demanded, extending her hand. And I believe you should depart and refrain from returning until you acquire some decorum. I remained standing there for a moment, regarding these individuals whom I believed I knew. My mother, flushed with anger, my father, unable to meet my gaze. I placed the envelope meticulously on the coffee table. Retain it, I stated softly. Retain it all. I exited without uttering another word, entered my car, and drove home to my apartment. I was just emerging from a hot shower, attempting to assimilate everything that had transpired, when my phone vibrated. Jessica's name illuminated the screen. How dare you? She shrieked before I could even utter a greeting. How dare you attempt to usurp my inheritance? You're already affluent. Why do you require Mom and Dad's assistance too? Goodness, you're so avaricious. I don't desire the house, I stated, striving to maintain an even tone. Liar! You've always harbored envy towards me. Well, guess what? Mom and Dad know what's advantageous, and they selected me. Jessica, I'm literally financing your rent currently. Oh, here we go, she screeched. Always flaunting your wealth in everyone's presence. That's your sole concern, isn't it? Money, money, money. I felt a laugh surge, a slightly frenzied one. I'm preoccupied with money? Me? That's ironic, emanating from you. You perceive yourself as superior to everyone else simply because... I terminated the call, abruptly pressing the red button mid-tirade, and deposited my phone onto the couch. Then, I proceeded to my window and gazed out at the city lights, allowing the tranquility of my apartment to envelop me. My hands were trembling, but I compelled myself to inhale deeply. In, out, in, out. I immersed myself in work following that day. My team was exceptional. They refrained from inquiring about my emotional state, simply assisting me in channeling everything into our latest endeavor. We were crafting something extraordinary, a series that would challenge our animation proficiencies to the utmost. Then, Friday afternoon, my phone illuminated with Mom's name. Robin, her voice was gentler than it had been during our previous interaction. We necessitate a family dinner tomorrow. A serious discourse. When I arrived at the house on Saturday evening, I observed Jessica's car already parked in the driveway. Splendid. The entire assembly was indeed present. Mom, Dad, Jessica, and Tom, all seated around the dining room table, resembling a familial tribunal. Mom had prepared pot roast, my favorite dish. The aroma permeated the house, but no one was consuming food. They all observed as I took my seat, the silence palpable and laden with tension. Dad cleared his throat. Robin, we've reached a determination. I waited, scrutinizing their faces individually. Jessica couldn't conceal her smirk. We're transferring the house to Jessica's name, Mom announced promptly. We've already consulted with our legal counsel. Before I could respond, Jessica leaned forward, her expression nauseatingly saccharine. Just to ensure you cannot challenge the will subsequently. You comprehend? We must safeguard our family's interests. Safeguard our family's interests, I reiterated slowly, the words tasting acrid in my mouth. The table once more, truly observing Mom, who had shed tears of elation when I gifted them the car. Dad, who had embraced me and expressed his pride. Jessica, who resided in an apartment I financed. Tom, who had been incapable of providing for his family and allowed me to assume the responsibility. And abruptly, everything became unequivocally clear. You know what I just apprehended? I stated, pushing my chair back and rising. I've been such a simpleton this entire time. I believed I was assisting my family, but I wasn't assisting family. I was replenishing an ATM. What are you insinuating? Mom demanded. I'm insinuating how you all perceive me. Not as a daughter, not as a sister, but merely as a convenient financial resource. Well, guess what? The ATM is deactivated. Robin, Dad began, but I interrupted him. Commencing today, I'm finished. No further bill payments, no further coverage of your rent, Jessica, no further gifts, no further transfers, nothing. You desire to engage in inheritance games? Acceptable, but you can do so with your own funds. Jessica's expression transitioned from smugness to panic instantaneously. You're incapable of doing that. Observe me. Robin, be judicious, Mom implored, her voice escalating. We're your family. No, I stated, my voice unwavering. Family doesn't perpetrate what you did. Family doesn't smile to your face while betraying you. Family doesn't incessantly take and take and take and then treat you in this manner. They all commenced yelling simultaneously, Mom weeping, Dad invoking my name, Jessica shrieking about my purported selfishness, Tom attempting to interject about the children. Their voices pursued me down the hallway, but I didn't halt. I didn't glance back. My phone wouldn't cease vibrating for days following that dinner. Text messages, calls, voicemails, all ranging from guilt-inducing to overtly antagonistic. I refrained from responding to any of them. Then, Mom resorted to Facebook. I anticipated it. She had always been inclined to publicly air familial grievances when she couldn't achieve her desired outcome in person. I never envisioned my own daughter would be so self-centered. Her post commenced. After all we've done for her, she's forsaken her family in our hour of need. A child's obligation is to support their parents, but some children solely contemplate themselves. I perused it with a detached amusement. The comments began accumulating instantly, but not precisely in the manner Mom anticipated. Isn't this the daughter who has been settling all your expenses? One of our cousins wrote. Wait, the one who acquired a new car for your anniversary? An aunt added. The same one who financed your Hawaiian vacation, someone else chimed in. Jessica interjected into the comments, labeling me a malevolent, envious entity who cannot tolerate witnessing others' happiness. Mom naturally liked her comment. That was the culminating provocation. I retrieved my phone and contacted the insurance provider that covered the car I had gifted my parents, the car that remained registered in my name. Hello, I necessitate reporting my car for repossession, I stated, surprised by the steadiness of my voice. Was affirmative. I possess the documentation here. They were prompt. I'll acknowledge that. The tow truck reached my parents' residence early the subsequent morning. I received the confirmation text message just as I was commencing my workday. That's when my phone truly erupted. How dare you seize our vehicle, you malevolent sorceress? We placed our trust in you. This constitutes larceny. We shall contact law enforcement. I perused their messages with an unfamiliar sense of tranquility. Then, I accessed my contacts and initiated the process of blocking numbers, one by one. I severed every channel they possessed to contact me. That occurred 6 months prior. I haven't communicated with any of them since. I occasionally receive updates through the familial grapevine, Mom and Dad experiencing difficulty managing their financial obligations, Jessica and Tom compelled to relocate to a more compact residence, but it's no longer my concern. Instead, I've been concentrating on my own well-being. Every cent I previously expended on them now contributes to savings for my dream home. I'm examining properties with expansive yards and ample room for a home animation studio. Perhaps I'll acquire a canine companion. I've always desired one, but lacked the time or energy while contending with my family's theatrics. My YouTube channel is performing more successfully than ever. It transpires that it's remarkable how much creative energy one possesses when not perpetually resolving others' predicaments. My team and I recently attained 10 million subscribers, and we're venturing into new projects I previously wouldn't have deemed feasible. Occasionally, I question whether I made the appropriate decision. Then, I recall discovering that Will, witnessing the reality of their perception of me, delineated in stark terms. I contemplate all the instances they derided my aspirations, only to subsequently demand the outcomes of those very aspirations. Some individuals might deem me callous for severing ties with my family. But here's the crux. They ceased being family long before I discontinued providing financial support. They simply neglected to inform me. I had to ascertain that independently, concealed within a manila envelope in my father's office.